Complexity was the biggest problem the business faced. Complexity of processes, complexity of systems. We had 67 legacy systems that were disconnected. They didn't communicate with each other. It was really difficult for our internal teams to provide service. And the worst part was our customers experienced that every day. One of the things we found was, despite consistently being given great feedback on our field service, we were consistently told by customers that we were too difficult to do business with. They found it very difficult to navigate all of the systems that we had in operation at the time. Our sales team were able to forecast in minutes instead of a whole day. We had efficiency savings of $1.3 million, and we were able to do improvements in processes such as debt management, which enabled us to do that with 2 people rather than 5. We needed a partner to help guide us as to which elements of Salesforce aligned to the strategy requirements we had. It's daunting when you first start on this journey to see the scale of the options available to you and to understand what's going to make the most difference to your business. So we wanted a partner to guide us with that, but then importantly guide us through the first implementations of the system. We started with Sales Cloud, then moved on to Service Cloud, and our partner was invaluable in taking us through that journey. They also were able to help us create a centre of excellence internally so we could take the next stages ourselves. The first thing, I think, is we didn't have the internal talent. It's very difficult to acquire Salesforce talent and bring that into a business and have them redesign processes in a business they've only just joined. It's really important to bring together your legacy team and a partner in the first instance. I suppose you could do it out of a box, but to do that, you are going to have to, first of all, accept that your processes probably are overcomplicated and could be done in a much simpler fashion. And secondly, you need to look at your legacy systems, particularly your ERP system, and any integration into that is going to mean that you're outside the ability to do an implementation on a click basis. That being said, I would advocate to do it as much as possible through clicks, not code. And if you are finding that you're doing more code than clicks, then you've got to question whether or not you're overcomplicating your processes and systems. We wanted a system that was capable of connecting our customer's journey from beginning to end. And having done quite a bit of investigation, we felt that the 360 approach with Salesforce was the best route for us doing that, not only initially, but for future development as well. Probably the number one tip for that is to make sure that you're not being forced through a process. As I've mentioned, it's very obvious. And I think partners who come in and present the process probably aren't going to be a good match for your organisation. You want a partner that shows more interest in your business than they are in presenting you or convincing you to follow a process. And if you've got a partner that wants to look at your unique challenges, then that's likely to work better. So anything that feels like you're being forced into a preset process is probably a red flag. I chose to work with Dan and David primarily because they didn't try and push us through a process. I think it's really important when you've got a partner that that partner takes the time to understand your business in detail, wants to work with your business, is curious about it, and in that way they can really help guide you to take the right paths and to do the right things for your strategy. Dan and David did that, and even in the initial presentation that came across, and I think it's really important that you get that feeling right at the beginning. I think the key is to ensure that you're focusing on a transformation that delivers a real return on investment. Too often these projects can deliver benefits, but customers don't really care about them. And I think the most important thing is to be clear in your strategy and your implementation, how that return is going to be delivered and how customers are going to benefit. In terms of CPQ, my top tip would be to really simplify your product and pricing processes. Ask yourself, does it really need to be that complicated? Because if you do require that level of complexity, a CPQ implementation is going to be really difficult. And in most businesses, you really don't. It's just been built up over time. It's one of the most important foundations in a project. It's one of the reasons we had some spiraling in our costs. We could have done it a lot quicker and more efficiently if we'd have thought deeply about our data structure at the beginning. The most important thing with technology is to ensure that you're only investing in the technology that's going to give you your current and future strategic benefits. Having said that, it's really important to have a technology that will deal with the future, and particularly at the pace at which technological change is happening, you really do need to think about what your next requirement is going to be. Change management for these type of transformation programs has to be done at a depth that isn't normally associated with change projects. And to bring people along with you on this journey, it's really important to think about how you're going to personalize your change strategy. I think that's about bringing together different strategies for people who have different learning profiles or personality profiles and enabling them to get on board. It's thinking about it from everybody's aspect, because at the end of the day, you're going to need 80% of your people to go with the transformation in order for it to succeed. If you don't have that, then it is quite likely that the processes and the systems won't be adopted and you'll have spent a lot of money for no reason at all.